A man accused of killing 2 people this week makes his first court appearance. What police say happened inside the home before the deaths.
Plus, 3 men arrested after a traffic stop in Van Alstyne. What police say they were throwing out of the windows when they pulled up.
And it's been a rainy day in Texoma, but sunny days are on the way. Steve's tracking when we can expect the sun to come out. News 12 at 6 starts right now.
Live from 12 Studios, this is News 12 at 6.
Good evening and welcome to News 12 at 6. I'm Jen Phillips.
And I'm Dan Thomas. The Bryan County man accused of killing 2 people in Durant on Monday is officially facing 2 counts of first-degree murder.
News 12's Stan Smith joins us live in Durant. Stan, did KXII Gray have anything to say for himself today?
No, Gray stayed silent as he was escorted into that building from the courthouse after making his first appearance today. And not only is he facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, but also burglary, kidnapping, and pointing a gun at a juvenile.
Do you have anything to say, KXII? Do you have anything to say?
Police say KXII Gray broke into Espinoza's home with a screwdriver, and while he was inside, shot and killed her friend Jarek Hagan, pointed a pistol at, and threatened to shoot a child inside. Police say Gray also kidnapped Jessica Espinoza, shot her in the head, and left her in a car on Sunnyside Road. Gray was arrested that same day in West Bryan County, where he admitted to shooting Espinoza and Hagan. Durant Police Detective Drew Hale says they have not yet pieced together the motive in the killing of Hagan and Espinoza, the mother of 2 of Gray's children.
And he did have some previous involvement with one of the victims, so of course that kind of ties him into this case. Right now, it doesn't appear that he had any sort of relation to the male.
Gray is being held in the Bryan County Jail on no bond, and he's got another court appearance later this month. And if he's convicted on the murder charges, he could get the death penalty. Live in Durant, Stan Smith, News 12.
All right, thank you, Stan. Well, officers in Tarrant County say they're looking for a 23-year-old man who they believe shot his ex-girlfriend dead yesterday. Grayson County Sheriff Tom Watt warning people in this area to be on the lookout for this man that you see on your screen right here, Michael Sherrod Walker Jr., who's believed to be armed and dangerous. Walker is the suspect in 23-year-old Atia Chapman's murder that happened at her workplace in Hazlet near Fort Worth. That's in Tarrant County just before 6 yesterday evening. If you see this man, take a good look at your screen. Do not approach him. Call 911 immediately.
And 2 bills strengthening punishment for domestic violence in Oklahoma passed committee on Monday. House Bill 1931, introduced by Dustin Roberts of Durant, would make anyone arrested for violations of a protective order, domestic violence, or stalking ineligible for a personal recognizance bond. It would also not allow bond to be posted by organizations that help low-income suspects. House Bill 1299 would add assault, battery, and battery with a dangerous weapon to a list of crimes with mandatory minimum sentencing.
Well, a man has been sentenced for shooting another man in the head at a Denison apartment complex. Christopher Bennett pleaded guilty in December and was sentenced today to 40 years in prison for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Bennett confessed to police that he shot at another man at the Circle Apartments in September. The victim was hit in the head, but miraculously not seriously injured.
Well, 3 men now facing felony drug charges after Van Alstyne police say they were driving around with dangerous drugs in the car. They say the drugs they were found with are a sign of a growing problem in southern Grayson County.
That's right. News 12's Braley McCoy spoke with one of the officers who made the arrest. Braley, how did police get in contact with these men?
Well, Dan and Jen, Van Alstyne Patrol Sergeant Steve Hayslip says it started when he and another officer ran the plates to the car they were driving and noticed they didn't have insurance confirmed. Sergeant Hayslip says as they tried to pull them over, these 3 men were throwing what was later determined to be drugs out of the car windows. It happened around 4 p.m. yesterday at the Highway 75 frontage road near Texana Street. Hayslip says they found 45 grams of heroin, some of that laced with fentanyl, 4 grams of meth, and under 28 grams of Xanax pills. Officers say 27-year-old Dylan Sumners, 21-year-old Corey Helmert, and 27-year-old Zachary Bramucci were arrested and booked into the Grayson County Jail on charges of drug possession and tampering with evidence. Hayslip says heroin use is starting to become a problem.
With heroin, we really begin to see a big increase in that over the last couple of years, just due to the fact that hydrocodone's become so hard to get a hold of, and the heroin does the same effects. It's just a whole lot cheaper.
Well, Sergeant Hayslip says because of the large quantities of the drugs, the men likely intended to sell them. Live in the studio, Braley McCoy, News 12.
Well, Ardmore police need help finding a man suspected of breaking into a country club last month. Take a look at the pictures here. Police say officers responded to a burglary February 20th at the Dornick Hills Country Club. That's north of Ardmore. Officers say that the suspect broke in through a window, stole several bottles of liquor worth about $200. Anyone who recognizes the man or has information on the break-in is asked to call Ardmore police.
Let's get a check of the weather now. We've got some rain in parts of Texoma.
Chief Meteorologist Steve Lenore has your Doppler 12 update and a look at what's ahead tonight. Steve?
Well, we have some patches of light rain here and there. That'll continue for the next several hours. If you're watching from Ardmore, it's fixing to rain in your backyard. Down in Marietta, where it's raining now, Gainesville. But none of this is particularly heavy, so we're not looking for a lot of high water, that kind of thing. Just wet roads and windshield wiper special. Elsewhere, you can see some light showers around Honey Grove and Bonham, on up toward Colgate and Antlers. Just some patchy light rain as well. In motion, you can see the activity is pushing from south to north, and that trend will continue for the next several hours. And later on tonight, it'll start to fall apart. Winds weren't quite as bad as we thought they'd be today. They've been running about 10 to 15 miles per hour, but it definitely is a cool evening. So the rain chance pretty high for the next several hours at 70%, and that drops to 20% by 1 in the morning. On your Thursday morning, gonna be kind of chilly, but guess what? The sun is out, and we're bumping it up into the 60s. The wind will crank up in the afternoon, but I think you're gonna like it. Your weekend numbers when I come back.
All right, looking forward to that. Thanks, Steve. Well, new speed limit signs went up today in Sherman as preparation begins for construction on FM 1417. The official start date was Monday in preparation for the $31.3 million project. The speed limit is changing from 55 to 45 miles per hour on FM 1417 from Highway 82 to Highway 56. The plan is to add a lane to each side of the two-lane road with a raised median. The project is expected to take about 2 years.
Well, Grayson County officials say the ransomware attack that they faced last week was not because of an employee mistake. The county's information technology director, Ken Miller, says no information was lost or exploited. Miller says no money was asked for or given. He says the threat came from overseas, near the Netherlands. Miller says critical systems were up within 52 hours of the attack, but they're still working out a few minor things to get everything the way it was before the attack.
Well, 2 Texoma senators are urging the U.S. Department of Education to protect funding for Oklahoma's rural schools. Senators Jim Inhofe and James Langford have joined in on a letter expressing strong opposition to an abrupt decision that would affect funding for more than 800 rural schools. The decision changes how they determine a school's eligibility for the Rural Low-Income Schools program.
Well, Denison Parks and Rec is holding a memorial softball tournament for a Bryan County deputy killed in the line of duty. Deputy Jared Taylor was responding to an accidental 911 call on January 14th when his car went off the road and hit a tree. Taylor worked for Denison Parks and Rec for several years before joining law enforcement. The tournament is set for April 18th.
Well, Cook County Sheriff Terry Gilbert has announced he plans to begin the process for a recount after a close election yesterday. Sheriff Gilbert said in a Facebook post that with only a 0.5% difference between him and his opponent, Ray Sappington, he feels he must ask for a recount. The petition has not yet been filed, but candidates have up to 5 days to petition for a recount. And students at a Texoma High School got a dose of reality today. How the program is helping students get ready for life after high school.
And a live look from our Holiday Inn Ardmore Tower cam here. Look at that one gray and gloomy day out there. The wind and the sun will be making a return. We'll tell you for how long and when. Steve's got all the numbers.